I just remember I almost came too late because I had 2 trains canceled on me. So I was like 2 minutes before my exam started, I was there. And so all my nervousness I had was just gone because I was way too stressed about the train anyway. So I was just happy that I got there in time. And I was super nervous, and you were all super nice to me, and it worked out.
We are nice.
We tend to be.
I think if you get what you give. So if you try your best, then it's fine.
That's right.
Kate, are you taking notes?
Yes, I am. And I'm nice.
We're recording,
Most
so
of the
it's
time.
fine.
I can re-listen to that.
Okay.
I just remember I was part of a study group, so we all sat in the front of your class every single session. And it was just one session where I don't know if one person of us was missing, when we were like, for this specific session, let's sit a bit further back. And we sat down, and you came in, and you looked for us, and like, come down, and you just waved us down again. And we all got up and moved to the front again. And it was like, okay, I guess we're in the front again.
I'm so used to having the same people in the same seats, and if they then, don't sit there and like, where are you? What are you doing?
It was just one member that just sat in the middle. We were like, okay, if he's already there, then just move to him. And then as soon as he came in, let's come to the front again. And we're like, okay, why not?
It's not dangerous down there.
No, it helped because you actually have to pay attention this way more, which in the end helps you for the exam.
It does.
Yeah, I think it's funny that people think that helps. It's like sitting in the front. If you find it helpful, that's fine. But it's like, I see the people in the back of the room who are not paying attention. It does not help them to be in the back of the room.
No, what I mean is if you're in the front, you just can't get distracted as easily. You can't be on your phone. You can't just play something on your tablet or do whatever. It is apparent way more. I mean, in the back, it's still apparent, but in the front, you feel it more. And you also want to engage more. So I feel like if I think I want to pay attention more, I just go to the front. Also, I don't have to be so loud. So if I know I want to say something in the class, I wouldn't sit way in the back and then shout it. I would go to the front and know, okay, I will have to say something. And if I have to, and if I will, then I'm in the front already.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, whatever helps you get through the day, I think, is the bottom line.
I mean, I agree. There is a certain responsibility to that, to sit in the front, because then you can get the look, and the look is way, way closer. If you're not paying attention, if you are there and you're there to learn, so you get the information from the first row.
I think that's part of being a student, part of being an adult, that this time there is no one forcing you to pay attention, really. It's on you to listen. It's on you to learn. It's on you to pay attention and to give. Mm-hmm. So if you just go to the class and you don't want to pay attention, sometimes you don't even have to be there. We don't have an attendance. If you don't bring anything and you don't care, what are you doing there?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder this a lot too, and especially given how much money I had to spend on my bachelor degree. When I look around at the students that I've got who are so unaware of the privilege that they're being handed, and how much they should put into, or how much effort they should put into it, I get a little frustrated sometimes, but then I remember back to my bachelor's classes, and even people who were paying lots of money, they were still idiots and didn't pay attention. But they were paying much more for the privilege of being idiots and just sitting there doing nothing.
But when we had tuition, remember that? Were you here when we had tuition? Suddenly, students actually began to work and actually started asking for things in class, like, "I'm paying for this. I want to find out more."
Yep.
And it was a nice move.
Mm.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Nothing helped my studies more than actually paying my fees myself. It's not a lot, but now that ever since I paid it out of my own pocket, I'm like, okay, now I actually want to pay way more attention than before because no one is taking care of this. I have to do this. I have to pay for this. So why would I pay more if I can just finish it faster? Mm. And I know people that don't have to pay for their study program. I didn't at first. And as soon as you start paying it yourself and you have to worry about money, it's a big incentive. It helps you a lot. What I don't like is if a lecturer says you don't have to be here, everything is online, and students still sit there and then look to the side and they're playing something on they're playing a video game on their tablet. I'm like, you can do this at home if you really want to play it. You don't have to sit here, play it.
Yep.
It's just going to distract me or someone else.
There you go. And I think it's at those moments where you have to be verbal about, this is distracting me and I'm actually trying to do the work of the class, so that lecturers know, hey, someone's being distracting. Get 'em
no,
outta here.
that's a telltale. I wouldn't call someone out in front of a class. That's unfair. But I could tell them like, hey, could you maybe I move one to the side or something. I don't want to embarrass them. I think that would be also unfair. But
Agree to disagree on that.
different positions. I'm one of the students.
I've been a student. I still agree to disagree on that.
I know.
All right, so welcome everybody back to this wonderful episode of Anglisten Assemble. Here with me, as always, we've got the wonderful Leon. Leon, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Hi.
Excellent. And Kate, back as always. How's Kate today?
Fine, amazing, great.
I believed all three of those words.
Yes.
And with us as our special guest here today, Dr. Vivian Gramley. Hello, welcome.
Hi, thanks for the invite.
Hey, it's great to have you here. Thank you for being generous with your time. We're going to jump in at the deep end in this Getting to Know You episode
Okay.
to try and figure out what makes Dr. Vivian Gramley tick. And we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
And at the same time, Leon, earlier, we were having this conversation. I feel
did.
like I have the, I don't know,
Privilege.
privilege of calling you Vivian.
Absolutely.
And they're not sure what they should call you.
Yes, we are.
What do you call me?
Dr. Gramley.
I offered Vivian to you several
I don't remember.
times over.
So, may
Yeah,
I?
yeah, absolutely.
May
Yes,
I?
you
Upgrade! Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wow. Building bridges here on
Absolutely.
Anglisten Assemble.
Like, I actually asked Ron, like, I think we should address this because we don't want to step on anyone's.
No, you're not.
Okay.
First semester students, I appreciate if they start with Dr. Gramley, so we establish some rules, and it's clear that it's a question of mutual respect.
Sure.
And experience from the past has shown me that if the younger students call me Vivian, they also might think we're drinking buddies, which we're not, and have a sort of respect issue. And so in higher semesters, it's fine.
Sure.
I think you have to at first get to know the dynamic, and then you can change certain how you address people because then you already know how it works.
Although I think there are some people who are very resistant to picking up on signals. Like I can remember I even had a student assistant who would continually call me Mr. Rosema, like openings for emails and things like that. And I was like, dude, I said you could call me Brian at least a year ago. I don't know why you insist on Mr. Rosema here. But hey, it is what it is.
It is.
Whenever it's a mail to you that I write, and it's something university related where you actually need your academic help, I still address it in a very formal way, just because I think it's appropriate in this case, because it's not something we just talk about for fun or on the side. It's something very important academic. Where I think in this case it fits better than just hi dude or hi Brian, how you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then there are other cases. I can remember learning German many, many moons ago. And I had a German teacher who I would use du with in the classroom and sie with in the coffee break room.
No.
It was so weird.
Weird.
And she called me out on it. She's like, why are you using the formal term here while we're just the two of us next to a pot of coffee? And in the classroom, you're using an informal term. My logic was just like, well, right now is where I want the distance. I don't want the distance in the classroom. I want the distance where it's an uncomfortable social setting. So I was picking and choosing my formality level based on the distance that I wanted to signal to the person I was speaking to.
I get it. I think I
Smart.
get it. I think in some cases I would do the same. I think
Right?
that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, they didn't ask me to design the grammar of that language, so what are you going to do? So as far as getting to know you goes, we have our lightning round questions, all sorts of molasses lightning that we have going through this series of podcasts. As much as we call it lightning, it doesn't seem to go that fast. So it's not going to be like the storm
No,
over the weekend
I don't think so.
at all. But we'll get ourselves started. Who wants to start off this round? Oh, Kate,
Okay.
Kate, go ahead.
Tea or coffee?
This is probably the easiest question. It depends on the time of the day.
Okay.
So I start off with 2 mugs of coffee in the morning. And from then on, it's tea, and never coffee or black tea after 3 o'clock.
Okay.
I need to sleep.
How do you take your coffee?
With milk, but preferably something like soy, some kind of nut drinky kind of thing.
Plant-based.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sugar? No sugar?
Never.
Okay.
Not in tea or coffee.
Okay.
In
I
like
see.
chocolate form, yes, but
And a preferred tea variety?
Lady Grey,
Oh.
or what's the other? Madam Grey.
What is that?
It's a light version of Earl Grey,
Okay.
and it's really, really, really good.
Oh.
So as long as you're getting your bergamot fix,
Absolutely,
It's a good thing.
Absolutely wonderful.
respect
love
it.
it.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Leon.
So
you
that was
wanna-
the easiest.
Yeah.
It was easy. Okay.
Quick
So
question.
what would be your favorite comfort food?
I gave this so much thought. Oh my goodness! At first, I thought I don't have that, and I thought more and more and more, and it's Rice Krispies.
Wow.
I love Rice Krispies,
Wow.
and
that's an
maybe in the
excellent
summer
answer.
watermelon, but Rice Krispies is my go-to food.
Covered with chocolate?
No, never.
Never. Just the
Rice Krispies with
Cereal
actual
form.
cereal with actual animal milk, like cow's milk.
Like a nice whole milk or vitamin D enriched or
3.8
Ah, okay.
cold,
Mm-hmm.
and because you can't get it in Germany, I will import it from France every time I go.
Nice.
So every time my brother comes to visit from France, his trunk is full of Rice Krispies. We meet somewhere, I get Rice Krispies. I go to the Netherlands, I go to Belgium, it's Rice Krispies. The trunk is literally full with boxes. I mean, just
Oy.
I was just imagining like an El Camino full of Rice Krispies in the
Along
back.
those
That would
lines.
be really cool. Take a lot of milk though.
But
Cool.
they don't really go off, I think.
So, but where do you stand on the Rice Krispie treat?
if I make it myself.
Okay.
We had that at boarding school, and that's where I sort of learned to like them.
All right.
And I mean, it's ultimately with marshmallows, and so it's a little too sweet for me. I don't, yeah. But Rice Krispies, no sugar, nothing added, just the milk, cold milk. And then you hear it snap, crackle, and Brian,
Pop.
Thank
you
you.
got to have the pop in there. Snap, crackle, and pop.
It's Snap, Crackle, Pop. Start with Snap, Crackle, Pop. Put some Snap, Crackle, Pop into your life. Put Kellogg's Rice Krispies into your morning.
Definitely.
and I actually have those little figurines you can put on the back of your pencil, like back in the 70s in the Rice Krispies boxes.
Like the original Kellogg's elves. Very cool.
Very much so.
And if nobody knows what we're talking about, all you have to do is check out Jerry Seinfeld's new movie. Because it actually is about the cereal war. Somebody help me out. Anyone remember the title of Jerry Seinfeld's new movie? Unfrosted, is it?
Maybe.
I think it's Unfrosted. It's mostly about the Pop-Tart, but Kellogg's, aside from stealing the Pop-Tart, also did Rice Krispies. And there are actual elves in the film.
Oh.
We're not sponsored by Rice Krispies nor Kellogg's.
But Kellogg's and Rice Krispies, if you're listening, we'll take that money. It's all good.
Just follow the GoFund link.
Good. So, moving on in lightning fashion, do you have a favorite book or one of many books that you think is quite good?
Okay. I don't even know where to start. How much time do we have?
Hey, just get it started and keep on rolling.
I brought some actually because
Okay.
I could not make up my mind, and I decided not to bring all of them, but one. I have brought 4 only. One is a collection of stories edited and introduced by Paul Auster. It's called True Tales of American Life, and it was a shout out from NPR, and they asked listeners to send in stories, and these stories are the absolutely best. Only available in English. And the first part, for example, is about animals. The second is objects, families, slapstick, strangers, war, love, death, dreams, meditations. And some of these stories are just 3 lines and others are a little longer. And I got the impression reading that someone was willing to open their door, draw their curtains open, and so like, you can take a look, a glimpse at my life, close it again and move on.
Cool.
I love this book.
All right, so these are all just listener stories that were sent in. That's awesome.
And I think they had so many send-ins that he simply had to make a choice and a selection. And from all over the United States.
Cool.
It is one of my favorite reads.
Looks like a perfect bathroom book, too, because you could read like 2, 3, 4 stories,
Yeah.
Anytime you happen to be brushing your teeth. What are you guys thinking about?
And I don't know. I gave it away as a gift several times, and my son just graduated from school here, and I also gave him this, and I said maybe you'll enjoy this, especially because these are short stories. And I hope he likes them because they really, really, really touched me.
Okay.
So it's, I think, an excellent read.
Are there any stories that maybe you could paraphrase for us without getting into any legal issues?
Probably. I was just this one. As I was walking down Stanton Street early one Sunday morning, I saw a chicken a few yards ahead of me. I was walking faster than the chicken, so I gradually caught up. By the time we approached 18th Avenue, I was close behind. The chicken turned south on 18th. At the fourth house along, it turned in at the walk, hopped up the front steps, and rapped shortly on the metal storm door with its beak. After a moment, the door opened, and the chicken went in. I mean, seriously, this is nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And there are lots of those little ones where you just go like, seriously? So just mundane things, completely mundane things.
That's cool.
It's wonderful.
Love it.
So this is one of the books I brought. The other is a much more recent read, Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And I was intrigued by the cover with this Japanese wave and the font, rainbow-colored font, and it looks sort of Pac-Man style, I would say, sort of computer 80s. And I don't game, I have no clue what they're doing. I'm not interested either. But this book is about gaming, and it's a story of two people who, and their story spans about 30 years, and they meet when they're children, give or take 10 years old maybe. They meet in a hospital, and they have a falling out. First, they befriend each other because they share a love for gaming, and then they have a falling out, and then they meet later. One of them attends, they meet out west, and then one of them attends MIT, the other Harvard.
Okay.
So, of course, they're destined to meet again. And it's not a love story as in romance love story, but it's a story of love and friendship.
Okay.
And the story spans another 20 years, and they design a game together, and it becomes a major hit. And it does something to them and their relationship. And I didn't want this book to end.
Okay.
I wanted the next 30 years. And she touched me with this book also so very much that I told everyone, gotta read this. And the answers that came was like, I loved it. I totally loved it. So this is a very engaging read.
All right.
The next one I brought is one that I read to my son, and it's called Rump, the true story of Rumpelstiltskin. And as we know, Rumpelstiltskin is someone we learn not to like. He takes the queen's child and so on. And in this book, there's a magical kingdom where your name is your destiny. And when Rump is born, everything has to be named. And when Rump is born, his mother dies. And she was only able to utter, your name is Rump, and there's nothing more. And now he's actually together with his friend Red, Little Red Riding Hood, looking for a Stiltskin.
Okay.
And so it's a nice retelling of the story. And I read this book and I thought, I want to adopt you. You can come live with me. I'm going to take care of you. I just rooted for this guy. And it's great. And she wrote others also about Little Red Riding Hood. The book is called Red, obviously, and Jack and the Beanstalk.
Okay.
And so...
Got all the good fairy tales in there.
And also for grown-ups. And then my all-time absolute top favorite is Rumo. Yes! Yes!
All right, Leon's excited.
Yes.
Leon, why are you excited?
I have read all his books, and they're all most of them are connected in some way. And I love
Which is
them
your
so.
favorite?
Rumo or what's the English title with the author? It's Streaming Cities. I started with is it Captain Blueberry? Is it in English or?
Captain Bluebear. I actually
Bluebear.
read that for my
I
kids.
I liked it, and I was like, okay, maybe what else
Bluebeer.
is there? And then I read
The
Rumo,
City
and I
of
was
Dreaming Books.
dreaming books. I read Rumo, and to this day, it's one of the best books I've ever read.
Same here. Rumo just did it for me. Rumo is, I don't know, when I read Rumo, in my dreams at night, I was running with Rumo through the night.
So for those of us who don't know, what is Rumo or who is Rumo?
Rumo is a Wolperting, a little Wolperting. He's named after a card game.
Okay.
Everyone lets him know that he's named after a card game. And there is this silver thread, and everyone has the silver thread, not a lining, just a thread, sort of like, the red thread, the silver thread, and they follow it. And that's like your destiny. And Rumo
Okay.
doesn't know where this thread is taking him. And a Wolperting is a mix between, in terms of a breed, between a dog and something like a deer, antlers, horn, something along those lines. And Rumo is super smart, as most Wolpertings are. They're divided, I think, Leon, correct me if I'm mistaken, there are two types of Wolpertings, the smart ones and the dumb ones. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, the way the world is divided.
Yeah, sure.
And he goes on this magical adventure through Wolperting, following a silver thread, and it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And in my dreams, I ran with him, and I was just like, Rumo, oh my goodness, you're the best.
Okay.
And this is one of them. When I thought about which books or which book is my favorite, I thought I can't decide, and I could have brought a whole wheelbarrow full of books.
Sure.
And I love this one and this one and this one and this one more. But if I had to reread a book, you said you have to reread it 3 more times, it'd be Rumo.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like the duel scene, which I really, really like with his teacher, and just his sword.
Oh yeah.
He has like a sword with 2 blades.
Okay.
And there's like a personality in each blade. So there's like 3 people constantly talking. And it's just so funny because he has like a person in his sword talking about like big game, like I can teach you everything. I'm the biggest sword master ever. And then he fights someone. And after the first hit, he just stops talking. And Rumo has to fight on his own. And after the fight, he's like, why didn't you help me? Yeah, I fell unconscious. The first hit was really hard.
Or the way he sticks his finger into this professor's ear, and the professor has like how many brains? 5 brains or something, and by sticking the finger in his ear, he can experience whatever is in the professor's brains.
Wow.
Love it.
Like the author just comes up with so many interesting ideas, and if you read all of them, the cool thing is you have like these small like tidbits or small characters that show up in every book, and sometimes this book like have like cross sections where someone meets Rumo or like he's mentioned or something, and you're like, then you read Rumo and like, I remember this part and from this in this book. And he's also very fun at naming characters. I think one character is named in German it's Querzuyupu, which is just the top row of the keyboard.
Nice.
So
it's-
I like that.
Very cool. Well, I think that was the most in-depth answer we've gotten for that one so far. Thanks for all of the recommendations.
You're welcome.
So that's Rumo, Rump, separated by 1 letter. And we've also got Tomorrow, and The Tales of American Life. Excellent.
And very different genres.
There you go. So summer reading list, folks. You've got your reading list for sure. All right. Moving on then, Kate. Next one's yours.
Oh, yeah. Favorite movie?
That was easy.
Yeah.
My Cousin Vinny.
Ah, good movie.
I love it. We're going to watch it in my class on English in the American South next week.
So there you've got a nice contrast between New York
Absolutely.
and Southern accents. That's
You got
really cool.
mud in the tires.
Yeah, mud in the tires.
How do you get mud in the tires?
So yeah.
And his second, close second is Cocaine Bear.
Oh, that's such a fun movie.
True. I mean, you have a shirt, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, movies have to be entertaining. I mean, I don't mind the English Patient put me literally, I mean, seriously, to sleep. I fell asleep in the movie theater. I found it so boring. Not wanting to step on anyone's toes here, but I could not I couldn't stand it. And so movies have to be. I like them when they're funny or action loaded.
Okay.
That's my kind of movie.
I was just listening to an interview. I was trying to figure out what's the name of the director. It's Elizabeth Banks. I don't know if you know Elizabeth Banks. She's a comic or a comedic actress anyway, and she is brilliant in everything she does. But it was only at that interview that I realized that she's also directing things and producing things, and she's amazing. And Cocaine Bear was kind of her step out into the directorial world. Such a great movie.
I love it. Yeah, it's great.
It's a great movie for family movie night if you're over 18.
But the story behind Cocaine Bears in a way is so sad.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not, I mean, they make light of it, but yeah, we are talking about an animal that is essentially being killed by people
And it was
various
killed,
ways.
actually. There was the actual cocaine bear exists, and he's taxidermied in some mall in Tennessee or something.
Yikes.
Yep.
Just goes to show. Also, a tale from American life,
Probably.
for sure.
I'm still waiting on someone to mention Ferris Bueller. That might also be a movie someone could mention. Which, if you like it,
It's a good movie.
It's not entertaining for me. There are people who like it. A lot of people like it. It's just I'm on the I might watch Cocaine Bear again than
Same
Ferris
here.
Bueller.
Same here.
Yeah, okay. I can understand that. There are so many movies that I would rewatch before I watch something that I think is ridiculous or stupid or puts you to sleep or whatever have you. It sounds like The English Patient is your sleeping pill, and Leon had recommended at some point for me because of the U.S. history course Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
I have the book at home.
And I watched the movie, and I think I fell asleep 3 times trying to watch it.
Happened with me too for the movie Dune, the old one with Sting in it.
Oh, see, I'm in love with that movie, but it's not. I mean, it's not what David Lynch wanted anyway. So I'm sure he would rip it to
What
pieces.
was the reason behind this whole thing? I was like,
Right.
please explain to me. I fell asleep, and I was actually on. I think it was the second date with my later husband. It was embarrassing.
Ah, yes, memories.
I'm just so happy that I told you to watch this movie because you fell asleep and you didn't know how to tell me at first. I'm like, and did you like it? And you're just like,
Yeah, no, I don't think I have a hard time saying that this movie is hot garbage.
Still waiting on you to watch Hansel and Gretel, Witch Slayer, which is in the same.
Yeah, no, I think you lost your recommendation rights already with
The one with
Abraham
Jeremy
Lincoln.
Renner.
Yeah, the one with Jeremy Renner.
It was actually fun because it was so much action loaded, and it's
so is Abraham Lincoln's just not good.
Okay.
But I cured your insomnia.
I didn't have insomnia, but you certainly helped enter me into the world of narcolepsy. That was definitely an interesting twist to the day. All right. Leon, I believe the next question is yours.
So do you have a favorite fictional character?
Well, Rumo, obviously, but I love Aslan
Oh. Interesting. Why Aslan?
because I love the entire world
Okay.
of Narnia. It's my father read this to us when we were little, and it just sort of takes you to magical places. I mean, not everything in Narnia was fine, obviously, but Aslan, he was just this mighty creature, and it was just like. I mean, I wouldn't mind going on a date with Jack Reacher because he would, you know what I'm saying?
Which Jack Reacher are we talking about now? The most contemporary Jack Reacher?
If at all, the most contemporary.
Okay,
Definitely not
okay.
Tom Cruise. He
Yeah,
did
okay.
not make a good Jack Reacher, but simply the ones from the books. Just
Right.
as like, you're like, nothing can ever happen to you if he's with you. You know, you can go through the darkest, loneliest, whatever parks, and he's there, and you'll survive. No, but Aslan is. I just love Narnia.
Okay. That's a good answer. I mean, isn't Aslan modeled on Jesus, according to C.S. Lewis?
Oh, I wouldn't know.
I think C.S. Lewis was really doing this Christianity allegory kind of thing.
In
But I
some
mean, I
way,
think it's
yeah.
interesting that Aslan becomes, because, you know, that's how he saw Jesus, I guess.
Okay.
I don't want to ruin your visions of Aslan.
Kind of did. So I already have this mental picture, sort of Aslan wearing a thorny crown. Thank you, Brian.
Well, I mean, it's the big rock in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, right?
I mean, he died, right? And then he was resurrected.
Yes.
But we ignore that.
And he died for, I'm drawing a blank. What's the name of the little kid that he died for? It wasn't Peter. It was the little brother.
Jack.
The ugly one? The ugly one?
There was no ugly one.
You know, he had like a very...
You mean the actor?
Yeah, because I haven't read the books, but I remember the movies. So
Oh, the movies are... No, you have to read the books.
the books are
movies,
definitely where it's
the
at.
movies are awful.
Yeah, I agree.
You mean Edmund?
Edmund.
Yes.
Edmund,
yeah, the
yes.
ugly one. Told you.
The one who was addicted.
I looked it up. Yeah, I
Addicted
wanted
to
to know.
Turkish delight.
Right.
I didn't know what that was, but it looked so good. And like I watched the first movie, and it looked so good, but I didn't know what it was. Like everyone was talking about it. Like it looks good, but I don't know how it tastes.
Did
Well,
you
if you
try
like
it?
sugared fruits, then you're all ready for Turkish delight.
No, I don't like it.
Okay.
It's like
You don't
it's
have to.
promising so much juice, like so much fruit in it, but then you try it and then it's disappointing because it's basically just sugar.
Well, I mean, if you were living through World War II, I'm sure Turkish delight would be a treat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's when they
And
were
baklava is also
basically
just
there.
sugar.
But baklava,
Baklava is mostly just butter, isn't it? I mean,
Butter and sugar.
no, it's honey.
Honey is also
Yeah,
sugar.
It's all sugar.
Yeah, but it's processed, so.
all right. I'm going to move us into our next lightning round question as fast as Turkish delight moves. And that is,
Oxford comma, yay or nay?
Cereal or comma, yes, absolutely. Without it, it's something missing.
Okay.
it's just something missing.
And you know, I go for commas quite a bit.
That's fair. We had just had this discussion not too long ago, and we are definitely split right down the middle.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't use it?
I don't care. I was the abstain vote. I was just
And you?
like, if you use it, you use it. Fine.
You want a consistency. Just it doesn't matter what someone does as long as they're consistent.
Right. I mean, if we're talking about writing, yeah, that's what I would assume. I don't want to see an Oxford comma in sentence 1 and none in sentence 2.
And I said yes, especially because I like reading stuff out loud. I do that a lot for other people, and I think a comma helps for breaks in between, for punctuation, for reading it. And when you're reading, it's way easier to know where to put a full stop or a stop while doing so when you have the Oxford comma.
This is the only comma I wouldn't mark if it was there or not there. But the other commas, in
Right.
my student writing, I would definitely mark.
Yeah. I mean, anything that's optional is fine. You know. Just,
Now I have to reread my paper for you to see if it's in there.
now you're just going to throw commas everywhere at this point for the paper.
Every word.
You want me to read it like it's some kind of beatnik poem.
After every word, a full stop. Peter went to.
Don't.
Harriet. Hard-hearted Habinger. I forget the way it goes. Never mind. We're moving on.
I asked the question.
Okay.
Leon.
It's me time. Me time. It's me time.
Please do not do me time right now, Leon.
So,
that is not something we need to have recorded.
If you could live in any literature world or literary world, which one would it be?
See, this was difficult because the first thing was like, am I a bystander? Am I an active participant? If I travel, say, like, time travel, to the medieval days or something, would I die or not? That's the question. Would I die from the plague or from hunger or potato famine? And so I was very... I like my life the way it is. So if I had to, I would like to get to know Wolperting. That I could, yeah, but I mean,
Seeing a theme.
I love Timeline by Michael Crichton.
Okay.
I don't know why it fascinates me so very, very much. This one, but also Micro, the way he transports his reader into different worlds. I mean, in Timeline to the Middle Ages with this archaeological site, and you know the story. And in Micro, where these what are the graduate students, biology students, whatever, they're turned into these extremely tiny creatures, people that you can barely see with your eyes like that, just like, and they have to fight their way through the Hawaiian jungle, I'm not sure for them it is a jungle. They're tiny. And the way he transports us into different worlds, I find this fascinating. And maybe because before I read Timeline, I listened to it 4 times as an audiobook. And I love the way the reader, the audiobook reader did this. And the way they talk about, you think you know Latin and Occitan and so on, and then it turns out in the book, the way Crichton writes it, is that what we speak here, what we think we know about these languages, is ultimately nothing, because we know nothing about the realization. And so when one of them speaks, it doesn't sound the way he's supposed to sound for the time, and then he said, "Who are you?" And then this is like, "Oh, don't worry about him. He's an Irisher." And he's not Irish, but he's just American, just can't pronounce it right. Things like that. And I find this intriguing, this entire concept of taking us different places. But then from this book, and this is why I'm asking about being a bystander or not, one of the characters decides to stay, falls in love, and decides to stay, and some of them die, and some of them travel back. And then later on, they meet again in France, where this whole thing is ultimately set, and stand at the grave of their one friend who stayed behind and who had married one of the women from the medieval period. And he had such a serene look on this face. It was engraved on the headstone, and made you wonder what kind of life he had. And he was willing to risk and not have penicillin, and so on, and maybe no good glasses and stuff like that. And that's what made me think about: do I want to be a bystander, or because if I was just a bystander, I knew I could travel home. Oh, take me places.
Yeah.
Just take me anywhere. I can push a button, I'm home. Otherwise, Wolperting sounded okay.
I think previously we talked about it, and we were like, okay, because usually you mention yourself being a hero in some world or in some way. We're like, we want to be like part of the Avengers, or people want to be that. But if you imagine going there, you'd most likely be a bystander in some falling building or something.
Thank you.
It's like, that doesn't usually end well for normal people.
The percentages do point in that direction for sure. Anyway.
Especially the closer you get to Zack Snyder, the more dangerous it is.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And there you lost me. When we were little, my brothers and I, my grandparents gave us costumes, and I had one for Wonder Woman, and my brothers were Superman and Spider-Man, and we'd spend the summers running around in those costumes fighting. I mean, like play fighting.
Sure.
And that's about as far as my knowledge of this world goes.
Yeah.
But I was a very proud Wonder Woman.
I think I have exactly these kinds of photographs from me as a child that I don't remember, in an Iron Man T-shirt and my brother in a Flash T-shirt. Very, very much the same way.
And my son loved that too, that kind of stuff. And so he would make, with his cousin in the States, he would make, his cousin Andrew knows a lot about photo manipulation. Even when he was 10 or 12, he could do all this stuff. And so they would take pictures and he would layer them so it looked like they were throwing stuff at each other, and lightning and crystal powers on you, and I deflect.
Nice.
And so we have lots of those nice pictures at home, and he enjoyed that, and I enjoyed watching them, being reminded of when I was little.
Cool. So if we take that from the world to a person, if you could talk with one celebrity or an author or a historical figure, live or dead, who would it be?
Oh my goodness. I would really like to talk to Barack Obama.
Ooh.
Very much so, because he makes such a smart impression, and I like smart. I just like smart.
Sure.
This is, yeah. But then I thought, okay, what is he going to tell me what is he going to tell me actually? Social injustice, I know about that. I mean, in parts, and so on and so on. So, and then I thought, no, I really want to talk to my grandparents who've all passed. And I have so many questions. And I would want to ask them so many things.
Yeah.
And I want to tell them so many things. And I never met my maternal grandfather, but the other three. And I miss them. And I don't know. I just I wish I'd had more time to ask them lots and lots of things about their lives.
Yeah.
And now I can only get it through my parents, and of course they get it through their own perspective as the child. And so this was maybe the 1, 2, 3 people I'd like to talk to. 4 people, I mean, as I said.
Sure. I mean, I feel like...
Who's cutting onions?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I feel like the exact same way. If the question were worded differently, it would be my dad 100%. Like, that would be the answer time and again. All right. So, I don't know if this is a fair question here for you to ask.
It's fine.
No, you can ask it, Brian.
You ask it.
I
More
should ask?
impartial.
Yeah.
There's a secret question.
All right.
But I can say no, right?
Yes, of course. It's a secret question. The secret question is, if Leon and Kate were to have a pistol duel, which one do you think is going to win?
Kate.
Can I have a yay? It's the yellow one, please.
Sorry, Leon.
Or
Yeah. It's
Leon's nightmare. Here we go.
the only person ever to vote for me is me.
But you know what? Maybe it's a question of being sort of, maybe I'm not. No.
Being nicer.
Everyone gives another, like, a different reasoning for it. It's usually like, yeah, it's less killer instinct or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, I just have to accept it, I guess.
But we are also kind of trying to switch the narrative that I'm the bad person and he's the good one.
Yeah, I'm just too nice.
Yeah. So that's the idea.
Are you taking any classes with me next semester? Is that the plan?
I don't think so. Why?
Okay, no.
I might.
Early modern English.
Watch out. All right. Well, Vivian, thank you very much for being so generous with your time for this Getting to Know You episode. We really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
And we got to have a lot of great book recommendations. And so, Kate, Leon, as always, a pleasure and a privilege.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
Thank you.
So then, for you out there in La La Land, Excelsior, and we'll see you next time at Anglisten Assemble.
That wraps up the first part of our conversation with Vivian Gramley. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. There is plenty more to explore, so stay tuned for the next episode.
Give you a try. If you do well, you can go a long way. But if you fail,
The producers pledge that they will produce
you
only
can go a long way too.
which will contribute to your musical enjoyment and successfully meet your high-quality standards.
This episode of Anglisten Assemble was privately produced as a joint non-profit informational project of students and staff at the beautiful Bielefeld University. All views and opinions expressed on the show in no way reflect the official views of the university and are solely the perspectives of our hosts and guests. Information provided is true to the best of our knowledge at the time of production, but this is naturally subject to change as some details are time-sensitive. Anglisten Assemble is produced and edited by Kate Lee, Leon Dalashel, and Brian Rosema for the private use of our quality audience. If you want to get updates and further info about Anglisten Assemble, check out our Insta at anglisten.assemble. And if you're enjoying what you hear, throw us a 5-star review on Spotify. Those help us spread the word and get more Anglisten to join the assembly. Musical accompaniment today includes the sonic stylings of music from allesgimafrei.de. And finally, we'd like to thank our special guest today, the venerably vibrant Vivian Gramley.